Hello and welcome back to another one of my FPL videos. I am the FPL Trade, and in this video we're going to be looking at transfer plans ahead of Game Week 16, which starts up again tomorrow. It's a quick turnaround yet again. Not much time really to think about what we're going to do, but there were quite a few key injuries in Game Week 15 that would have affected some of us with our FPL teams. I know it's affected me, and I'm sure it would have affected others. But before we go through that, it's always fun to look back on the previous Game Week where I recommended these transfers. I mean, as you can see, it weren't the best from me, was it? It was a 1 out of 4, which was pretty terrible to be fair. So starting us off, I recommended anyway to take out Anderson for Reece James. Now, obviously, taking out all these players, I got 100% correct. It was players bringing in that I failed on. But yeah, Anderson, 2-0, they lost to Bournemouth, which was really disappointing. I did think that was their last chance of getting a clean sheet. You probably think, well, why would I recommend getting rid of him then? But going forward now, I can't see Crystal Palace getting a clean sheet anytime soon. They've just had 3 nice fixtures to get some. They got none, and now they've got some tough fixtures coming ahead. So, yeah, they're disappointing, and I got that one correct. Now, his replacement, Reece James, he only got 1 point as well, but he started on the bench, which I get that, because obviously he's had a few injury problems. Pochettino didn't want to risk him. And I do think he will start in Game Week 16, that's for sure. And it was a tough game as well against Man United. So, yes, it was only 1 point, but that one was more of a going forward because Chelsea's fixtures are amazing going forward. Diaby, only 1 point from him. I mean, he only played 5 minutes against Man City, which, tough fixture. I mean, all credit to Villa for winning. And I have been saying, look, you got to get rid of your Villa assets. But, if they can beat Man City, why would you want to get rid of them? But, Diaby, rotational risk. He's not had a great few game weeks now. Only a 1-pointer. Yeah, definitely got that one right. But his replacement, oh, God. Another 1-pointer, Gibbs White. Now, obviously, Forest got absolutely battered by Fulham 5-0. So that was a shocker in itself. Gibbs White didn't start. He came on at half-time. Obviously, quick fire round. So managers don't want to risk their players. And those that did risk them did unfortunately get injured. So yeah, you can understand why these managers did rest some of their players. So he only got 45 minutes, only 1-pointer, which was disappointing, I have to say. Archer, 2-pointer. I mean, he had Liverpool, to be fair to him. He was never going to score in that game. Can't see him scoring in many games, to be fair, even if they have got this new manager, which I don't think is going to do any difference for him. I could be wrong, but I can't see it. But I got that one right. But Isak, oh God, 2 points. They got absolutely battered last night, Newcastle did, by Everton. I couldn't believe what I was watching, to be fair. I had this down as a 3-0 Newcastle, not a 3-0 Everton. So that was a real surprise. Really disappointing with Isak. But their fixtures are still pretty decent going forward. So I definitely recommend him still going for him. But this game we just gone was really disappointing from Newcastle as a whole, really. And then finally, I mean, this transfer I wasn't going to do. But I figured when I saw that Nick Pope got injured, and he was going to be out for a while, because obviously we also have the likes of Alisson out injured as well. I figured I'd do a goalkeeping transfer recommendation as well, and oh my God, it worked out a treat. I could have gone for, was it Gallagher, however you say his name, in Liverpool. I mean, he did get a clean sheet himself. Dubravka obviously had a nightmare, conceding 3 goals. But no, I decided to go for Sanchez of Chelsea, because yes, they did have Man United, but like I said, Reece James, the fixtures, they're amazing going forward. This guy's going to start in every single one of those games. So there's no risk of rotation at all with Sanchez. And he had a blinder against Man United. Even though they lost the game 2-1. The guy saved a penalty. Total saves was 7. And came away with 3 bonus points. Coming away with a total of 11 points. Absolutely beautiful that was. So at least I got one right. And boy, it was a big one. So yeah, buzzing about that. I'd still definitely recommend going for Sanchez in goal. No, obviously, likes of Dubravka and Liverpool backup are like 3.94 million now. But yeah, he is a little bit more expensive, but their fixtures, chances are just amazing. So I definitely still recommend going for him, because I do think they're going to do well in the coming weeks. But yeah, 1 out of 4 isn't the best, but at least the last one was a good one. So then the first transfer I've got in here is taking out Mitchell for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, obviously, there's a big price gap between these two, 3.3 million. So I don't imagine many people having that much in the bank. But if you have, fair play. But there's also options. Let's say you want to downgrade a midfielder, or if you don't fancy Kieran Trippier anymore, then you could get Trent Alexander-Arnold that way. The reason why I've got Mitchell out is because obviously he went off early, injured, against Bournemouth in the last game week. Don't know the extent of the injury. He could be back for 16, but does it matter? His fixtures coming up at Liverpool, Man City, Brighton and Chelsea. That is absolutely horrible, especially when he's just had 3 game weeks where he could have had some clean sheets, some easier fixtures, let's just say. And even then, they didn't do well at all. Now, they're in some terrible form, Crystal Palace, right now. So it doesn't look good. So I definitely recommend getting rid of him. I've got Mitchell in my team myself. And he's somebody I'd ideally like to get rid of sooner rather than later. But his replacement, Trent Alexander-Arnold, in complete opposite form. This is the form we remember Trent. So he's got 2 goals and 2 assists in the last 4 game weeks now. He's on fire, should I say. This is the Trent Alexander-Arnold we've been used to in the past. Now, his fixtures on paper don't look the best, but Crystal Palace away is a nice fixture. Man United at home. Now, they always seem to turn United over at the minute. Arsenal is going to be a little bit tougher, obviously, because it's Arsenal. And then they got Burnley away. So, Arsenal, I'd say, is probably the only one that I'd be worried about. But even then, that game is being played at Anfield, should I say. And even then, he's just played Man City, Trent did, and he did really well in that game as well. He got you 8 points in that game. Got the goal, obviously. So, doesn't really matter that he plays Arsenal. He could get you a haul of points either way. But yeah, he is expensive. Is he worth it? I mean, it's a gamble to go for, obviously, because it's a high price. It's going to be difficult to get to him, but he is in hot form. And if it continues, I'm sure more and more people are going to want to be getting Trent in their team. So then on to my next transfer on here, and it's Mbeumo out for Sterling. Now, we're all gutted when we saw that Mbeumo went off injured against Brighton. We all had him in our teams for the next few weeks because obviously game week 16, for example, Sheffield United, that was going to be a great fixture to have Mbeumo in. But he's going to miss that now. He's going to be out for a few weeks. I mean, he's blanking in 18 anyway, but yeah, you've got to get him out of your team. There's no point keeping him now. He's highly owned as well, so I assume he will go down in price, should I say, in the next few game weeks quite a bit. For sure, I do reckon he'll probably go down even before game week 16 starts, because obviously quite a lot of people do own him, and the fact that he's going to be out for a few weeks, a lot of people are going to get rid of him, especially now because Chelsea's fixtures have now changed. And this is obviously the reason why I've got Raheem Sterling as the replacement. A lot of people are also saying, or going for, should I say, Cole Palmer. I definitely would recommend going for both, if I'm being honest. Both of them start week in, week out for Chelsea. Yes, Palmer's on penalties, but like I said, Sterling also starts week in, week out. Yes, he hasn't scored in the last 2 game weeks, but he got a goal against Newcastle. He managed to also get a goal against Man City as well as, and then got an assist against Spurs. 3 tough teams to do that against, so it's impressive. And the fact is they've got Everton, Sheffield United, Wolves, which would be tough to be fair, and Crystal Palace coming up is really great. Green on the board. Ideally, you probably want 2 Chelsea attackers for those fixtures, if I'm being honest. And Sterling is the same value pretty much as Mbeumo, so it makes sense to do this transfer because look at those fixtures, man. And I do think Sterling's going to cause chaos, as will Palmer, I'm sure. So then with my final transfer on here, I've got Mbama out for Alvarez. Now, it's always difficult on which striker to decide to get rid of because a lot of people own pretty much the same strikers currently right now. But Mbama, he is quite highly owned. Now he's dirt cheap. He's only 4.3 million. So it's a bit like the Trent one. It's going to be difficult to go from Mbama to Alvarez. Now the reason why I've got Mbama out here is a couple of weeks ago, West Ham played Burnley and we all saw him come on. He did really well against Burnley. He contributed in that goal, and that was an equalising goal against Burnley. And we all thought, because obviously Antonio is going to be out for a while, he's going to get some minutes here, particularly with the quick turnaround. Now, he hasn't played since that game, so that was 2 games. The last 2 game weeks, he's not played a single minute. So that is really disappointing. So maybe you may as well look at possibly getting rid of him, because I do think it is probably a good time maybe to go for maybe even a a 3-4-3 formation. Now, obviously, the replacement is a controversial one, you could say, because Alvarez has not been in exactly the best form, really, for Man City, particularly the standards he set at the start of the season. So, I mean, the last time this guy actually got any returns was in game week 12, and that was only an assist. Last time he scored was game week 9, so it's been a while. Now, he's got Luton in game week 16. Now, that's a nice fixture. I was going to say okay, but it is a nice fixture. But it's been tough for teams to go to Luton, so it'll be interesting to see how we get on. Game week 17, though, that's also a really nice fixture for Man City. Yes, they do blank in game week 18, but then they've got 19, they've got Everton, and game week 20. Now, there's rumours that there could possibly be a double game week for game week 20 for Man City, and if that was the case, that would be Sheffield United, Brentford, double game week. That would be nice to have both Alvarez and Haaland up front for that game week. So yeah, definitely something to think about. Obviously, the game week 18 blank is something that might put people off. But the two fixtures before then, Luton and Crystal Palace. Luton, you think they'll score. Crystal Palace is leaking in goals. I think that would be a great little transfer to go for. So that's it then for this video today. Now, I am going to be doing my team selection video later on today for obvious reasons. I mean, I've had to do both videos today because unfortunately, yes, it's been a quick turnaround, but I do actually have to work. I'm not unemployed, so I've not had time to really get this video. Ideally, I would have had this video out on Wednesday, but just not at the time. So I will be doing my team selection video tonight, so make sure to look out for that one. But yes, that's it then for this video. Let me know what you think of these transfers that I recommended. Let me know what transfers you're thinking about doing. Don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all on the next one.